They said it was for my own good, but I learned that's just another word for control. They took my house, my freedom, even my dignity. But I'm a teacher, and teachers don't just fade quietly. We leave lessons that last. If you've ever been underestimated, or had someone mistake your kindness for weakness, this story's for you. Hit subscribe, drop a like, and buckle in, because this isn't just revenge, it's redemption served with quiet grace. My name's Walter Harris, though everyone calls me Walt. I'm 68, retired, and used to teach high school history in a small Ohio town. The kind of teacher who stayed after class, bought extra pencils out of his own pocket, and remembered his students' birthdays. After my wife, Margaret, passed away 6 years ago, our little brick house became my world. She'd planted roses out front and said, "If you take care of them, they'll take care of you." I did, every spring, until the day my children decided I shouldn't anymore. It started with one small accident. A slip off a ladder while cleaning gutters left me with a fractured wrist. I thought it was nothing, a bruise on pride more than bone. But my son, Evan, and my daughter, Melissa, reacted like I'd shattered my spine. They came over with that concerned adult-child tone that feels more like a verdict than a conversation. "Dad, you're living alone in that house. It's too much for you," Melissa said one afternoon, her tone rehearsed, sympathetic but firm. Evan chimed in, "Yeah, Dad, one fall could have been way worse. We just want what's best for you." I smiled softly, trying to keep the peace. "I'm fine, kids. I've been on my own longer than either of you have been married." But it didn't matter. Within weeks, they had a plan, a temporary stay at a wonderful assisted living facility. They called it Maplewood Care Home. They promised it'd only be until I fully recovered. I didn't want to argue. I had spent my life teaching people to see reason, but sometimes even reason can't compete with manipulation disguised as love, so I agreed for a temporary stay. Just until I healed. I didn't know temporary was their favorite lie. Maplewood Care Home looked decent from the outside, big brick walls, neat lawns, but once inside it smelled like bleach and loneliness. The staff hurried past like they were running from their own jobs. My room had one window and a bed that creaked when you breathed. The food was bland mush, and the hallways echoed with the hum of televisions nobody watched. I kept telling myself it was temporary, but weeks passed, and the calls from my kids grew shorter. "Soon, Dad. Work's been crazy. Don't worry, we've got everything handled." They sure did. In that place, real kindness was a rare thing. But Rosa, a nurse's aide, was different. She was always gentle, snuck me an extra pudding cup, laughed at my terrible jokes, listened to my stories about Margaret. One evening, while re-bandaging my wrist, she hesitated. "Mr. Harris, can I ask you something? Did you mean to sell your house?" I frowned. "Sell? No. Why would I do that?" She bit her lip. "Because I heard your son on the phone with the administrator. Something about closing the sale and wiring the money." My stomach dropped. That can't be right. They told me this was temporary. She looked away. "I shouldn't have said anything. I'm sorry." But I couldn't unhear it. The next morning, I found the computer in the common room and searched my address online. There it was sold. My house, my wife's roses, the kitchen table where we shared 40 years of mornings, all in bright photos for strangers to scroll through. I called Evan. My voice was calm, too calm. "Son, did you sell the house?" He sighed. "Dad, you weren't using it. We got a great price, and the money's helping with your care." "My care?" I said. "Where's the rest of it?" He paused. "Some of it went to my business, you know, to get things moving. Melissa used her share for the home renovation she's been waiting on for years. It's family money, Dad. You'll benefit, too." I felt my heart sink. My kids, the people I raised to tell the truth, had divided up my life like it was leftover dessert. That night I didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling and thought they buried me while I was still alive. Once you see betrayal clearly, everything else starts to come into focus. Maplewood wasn't a home. It was a warehouse for the forgotten. I saw things that turned my stomach. Frank, a veteran down the hall, fell one morning and lay on the floor for 20 minutes before anyone came. Another woman had her medication missed 3 days in a row. The food was expired half the time. The staff were miserable because the management pocketed most of the funds meant for care. Rosa told me quietly one afternoon, they take money from families, thousands a month, but we're always short-staffed. Everyone knows, but nobody reports it. People are afraid. I'd spent 40 years teaching young people to stand up for what's right. And here I was, letting injustice happen around me. That night, I made a choice. If I couldn't reclaim my house, I'd at least reclaim my dignity. I started collecting evidence. I wrote down every missed medication, every broken wheelchair, every staff member who worked double shifts without pay. I hid a small camera, an old digital one Evan gave me years ago, in a tissue box and took photos. Moldy food, neglected patients, fake signatures on medical charts. Rosa noticed what I was doing. "Mr. Harris, you'll get in trouble," she whispered. "Then they'll finally notice me," I said. "Besides, Rosa, someone needs to tell the truth." She smiled faintly, then let me help. Every few days I'd give her a sealed envelope. She'd mail them to her cousin, a local journalist named Elena, who'd been trying to expose Maplewood for corruption, but never had solid proof. Now, she did. 3 weeks later, the reckoning arrived. News vans parked outside. Reporters swarmed the front doors. Headlines flashed across every local channel. Nursing home fraud and neglect exposed, whistleblower evidence reveals systemic abuse. Inspectors stormed in. The director was led away in handcuffs. The staff, the good ones, cried with relief. I watched the chaos from my window, coffee in hand, feeling something I hadn't felt in months. Purpose. But the best part? The investigation didn't stop there. A few weeks after Maplewood blew up on the news, a state auditor called me personally. "Mr. Harris," she said slowly, "we're reconciling the facility's incoming payments. Your account isn't paying. Someone else is. The wires are coming from an account under your son's business name. Did you ever authorize anyone to pay for your care or sign any paperwork on your behalf?" The question landed like a thrown stone. "No," I answered, voice steady but small. "I never gave anyone power to act for me. I never signed anything to sell my house." That single no set a train in motion. The investigators subpoenaed bank records and escrow statements, traced the wire transfers, and pulled the title records. The closing statement showed the proceeds were split between Avon's company account and an account Melissa used. When they compared the power of attorney paperwork to my handwriting and the notary's stamp, the forgery was plain as day. I didn't need to confront them this time. The court did it for me. When I walked into that courtroom, I felt like a ghost. I was supposed to be the frail old man everyone forgot about, the one tucked away quietly in a nursing home. But that day I stood tall. Evan looked small. Melissa cried softly into a tissue she didn't need. The judge read every finding, the fraud, the forgery, the misuse of funds. When she finished, she looked at me and said, "Mr. Harris, the court returns full control of your finances and estate. The defendant's assets will remain frozen pending further investigation." I didn't say a word. I just nodded. Evan tried to speak afterward. "Dad, it wasn't like that." I turned to him and said, "I understand perfectly. You called it love, But love doesn't cash out someone's life. It doesn't steal their memories and label it care. Melissa sobbed quietly beside him. Not because she'd lost me, but because she'd lost the comfort my money gave her. The sympathy, the social circle, the illusion of being the good daughter. All gone the moment truth came out. The story spread fast. Maplewood shut down within a month. Its owners were indicted. Evan's startup went under when investors fled after the scandal. Melissa's friends distanced themselves. No one wanted to brunch with a woman who'd stolen from her own father. They both tried reaching out. I didn't answer. I'd taught forgiveness my whole life, but some lessons only sink in through silence. With the settlement money and restitution, I had more than enough to start fresh. But I didn't want another house. I wanted purpose. With Rosa's help, I created a community fund to improve senior living conditions across Ohio. Better oversight, fair wages, safer facilities. I named Rosa trustee because she was the only person who reminded me that decency still existed. And when I updated my will, I left half my estate to that fund. For my children, I left a letter. You told me it was for my own good, but good doesn't lie. Good doesn't sell what isn't theirs. You taught me that greed wears a friendly face, and sometimes it calls you Dad. This isn't revenge. This is your lesson. The truth doesn't age. I hope someday you learn that care without honesty is cruelty. Consider this my final lesson. These days I live in a modest apartment downtown. I keep Margaret's roses in pots on the balcony, and every morning I water them while the sun rises over the park. Rosa visits on weekends with her daughter, bringing homemade cookies and gossip. We laugh, watch the evening news, and talk about how quiet justice can be. They thought they could silence me with walls and paperwork, but you can't cage a man who knows his own worth. I didn't need revenge. I needed truth, and truth, once spoken, does all the avenging for you. If you've ever seen someone mistake kindness for weakness, share this story. Leave a comment if you've ever seen kindness mistaken for weakness. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories where quiet people win loud victories.